Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome to episode number 56, or 66. I'm counting backwards of 10-Minute Kick-Ass Coaching. I am in New York City right now, actually Queens, Bayside area, for a meeting. So I'm doing some prep work before I go in. I think the meeting starts about 5:30 today, and I'll get to meet and interact with some rather successful people. So I feel blessed for the opportunity. Anyway, welcome to our episode today of 10-Minute Kick-Ass Coaching from the road, and we're going to talk about two things in particular. One is delegation. This question keeps coming up over and over again, and it's one of the sore spots that a lot of the entrepreneurs I work with, or business owners I work with, or business managers that I end up working with. What is delegation? This evil word, and what the difference is between I could do it better and faster myself mentality versus delegation doing it. Well, I come from the school, old school, and the old school way of it is I could do it better and faster myself, so why would I bother with somebody else? And was my thinking for a long time. I'd say probably once I hit about my mid-30s, it started dawning on me that was a really stupid way to think, a really dumb and almost childish way to think, that I could do something better, so what do you need to be here for? Now, you always want, if you're working with employees and you have technicians, you always want to be seen as a person that actually will walk the walk and talk the talk. If you're not seen that way, I don't care how you spin it, and you're dealing with technicians in particular, they won't have the respect for you that you walk the walk and talk the talk, because you probably haven't done it. If you bought a business, managed a business, worked in the office but never worked in the front line of it, it's going to be an issue. It doesn't matter how good you are at what you do. When you're working with your technicians and employees in the field, if you haven't done it, they don't respect you, and they never will because you haven't done it. It's kind of a technician mindset, and I understand it because I was the same way myself. So it's very tough to look up to a person and say, I respect you, I value you, and you don't, because you go, this person has never done any of this stuff. They've never even broken sweat. They've never dug a ditch. They've never done anything. So how do you respect it? And I have a friend of mine's company I'm going to be working with shortly, and one of the things he wants me to do is, he says, I can't get it across to my employees and technicians of how I want something done, and I think I need to bring you in to do it because I can't do it, and because I don't understand it. And this guy actually has done the physical work, has broken his back, has busted his ass, has done all those things, and he says I can't get him to do what I need him to do, and it seems like it's an ongoing issue that never seems to want to go away. I said, that's because you're saying it. Just like if I had experts come into my business, and I did multiple times, to talk to my staff about something that I was not necessarily the best person for. I would literally write a check, sometimes for $1,000 or more, $1,500 or more, for them to come in and speak to my technicians for an hour and a half, and get it across. And it was well worth it to me, because I kept racking my brain trying to figure out why they don't do what I keep asking them to do. And I don't understand where the disconnect comes into place. So it's a real situation, it's a real hustle, it's a real sore subject that happens, but you have to learn to delegate. No matter who you are, what business you're in, and again, I'm going to stick to service-based businesses because that's where I have my expertise in. If you have a service-based business, you have frontline technicians in the field, you have office staff, and you usually have management, and maybe ownership, or management might be ownership depending on the business and how it's set up. So you have this trifecta of setup. I always liked, if I had a sales rep, I wanted the sales rep to go out in the field and see how we do a job. So if we're doing a disaster restoration job, or cleaning up a water damage or fire damage, I wanted the sales rep to go out and actually hang out with the crews, maybe work with them as an assistant for the day, so they actually understood where they were coming from. And they would almost start getting respect from the technicians because they actually went out there and worked with them. So they kind of knew what to say when they were marketing the product, but they also knew how to handle it, and the guys actually got, men or women, did the job in the field. So the respect level was a lot better when we did that and put them out there. But going back to what I was saying, it's because my friend is saying it to his employees. Now, if I come in there and say it to him, we're going to get a completely different response. It's not because I have some magic bullet, or I'm, just that guy that can handle that. No, that's none of that. It's because I'm not him, or I'm not her saying it. So it helps. Now, I do happen to be relatively decent at working with mentoring and training employees and doing training in the field and working with them to try and bring out the most. I've had a pretty good track record of it. I've been doing it for a long time. So after a while, you start seeing systems and ways to do things that'll manifest itself and develop. So delegation is crucial. Unless you want to be old, beat up, miserable. Did I say miserable? I've seen too many restoration owners, I'm just going to stick to restoration water damage, but it's plumbing, it's heating, it's no matter what business it's in the service genre, again, that's my experience, that turn miserable at the end of the day because they get hostile, that the employees are not doing what they want them to do, and they get just bitter. And it burns you to the core. I've seen the best of people come out, the sweetest of people come out from the get-go, and then turn to shit, for lack of better words. And they're not bad people, they're so burnt out because they can't figure out why they do it. And that's when you need to delegate. 2 ways of delegation. Number 1, you hire it. You have people like myself, or anybody in particular that is an expert in the field, come in and work with your people and talk to them and be the accountability person. That's not them. So they're coming in from the outside, and they're being hired by the ownership or management to come in and do that situation and work with the technicians and get them on board and get up to speed and teach them maybe some different products that they offer. But you got to hire out for that because they're not listening to you, and they're never going to. Second is your employees. You want to make sure that when you say something to them, it gets done. And it's how you say it. You don't have to be a prick. There's no need to be. You can get more with honey than with, I don't know what the ever term goes, but you don't have to be bitter about it. You don't have to be mean about it. You don't have to be just antagonistic. I know one particular person that is extremely talented as a person, extremely successful restoration contractor right here in the tri-state area, but an asshole of a human being. And I used to think it was just maybe he was frustrated too as well. And then I found out maybe he did start out good. Maybe he did start out as a nice guy, and he just went that way. I don't know. But I've seen even successful multimillionaires turn that way. Learn to delegate correctly. And don't take things personally. It's business. We've talked about that in a webcast before, in a podcast before, that people take things seriously. And listen, business is business. If you have an employee or technician that is not doing the tasks that need to get done in the way that you see they need to have it done, then you have a very, very simple decision. You talk to them and say, this is what I'd like. I'm flexible. I know you have your way about certain things. I have my way about certain things. Let's come to the table. If that technician does not want to come to the table, you show them the door. It doesn't take that much. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you haven't tried everything you have. But you've got to make sure you have delegation on point with your employees, with your technicians, with your people. And you need to hire out when you need to make a point. When you want to really grow your business, you need to hire that person. You can't do it yourself. You can try. God love you. But the success ratio I've seen are in the single digits of anybody that got across to their technicians to get to that point. They've always hired out. They've always had consultants. They've always had coaches. They've always had people that come in and train their people. That's what they do. That's what they're good at. So you need to hire those things. And they will cost money. But you got to spend money to make money. And if your employees and technicians aren't happy, then nobody's happy. You're never going to be, and you're going to go to this miserable pit and turn over and over again and not be happy and not enjoy what you've already worked hard to build up. So really think about it. Delegation is crucial. You can't get by life without it. It's sort of like breathing oxygen. Unless you're going to be this old miserable codger that is just not gonna just do the work himself, and that's it, because nobody's any good and I can do it better myself. God love you. You'll be old and miserable and probably have a shorter lifespan than you should have. But if you think like a big business, like a real entrepreneur, a real successful business owner, you're going to learn to delegate that. You're going to learn that those people have a successful mindset for a reason. They're not great at everything, and they can't be. So they delegate that out, and their way of delegating is hiring other people to come and do it and get their point across to their employees and their technicians. Delegation is key. You will never, ever, right on, John, you will never grow a business without it. If you think you can, you're going to be miserable and ornery. So if you're the guy that has to do everything in the job, and has to be on every single job, I'm speaking to you. I'm directly talking to you. And I'm telling you, if you can't learn to delegate, you're going to be in bad shape in a short period of time. We all get old. There's no way around it. There's no way to go backwards. We're all getting older. So learn. Learn from me, because I was the dumb schmuck that did that. And then after a while, I went, I'm never going to grow a business if it's just me, me, and me. But if I want to have the right employees, I need to make sure I have these things in place. So take the time, use your resources, do what you're really good at, hire out the rest, and learn to delegate to your employees, and learn to hire others that can help delegate and get you to where you want. Without that, you won't. Nobody does. Again, single digits. You have a better chance with the lottery. So I'm sorry to talk so passionately about this today, but it's a big issue, and I get asked it a lot, and it was something that I needed to talk on this webcast about. I'm not even going to get on to the second point, but delegation is also a form of leadership. And if you're a poor leader, you're not going to be very good at delegating. So part of working on becoming a good performer, a good leader, a good person to look up to, means you're very good at delegation. I know people that run very successful businesses, and they delegate. My buddy Clark, he's awesome at it. He runs a huge company. He's very good at delegation. He doesn't have to go out and sit and tear out the walls. He doesn't have to do that type of stuff. He could. He's more than willing to do it if he needs to. But he's very good at delegating to people that need to have that job done. He's also an excellent business coach. You get what you pay for, and you get what you invest. So you got to invest your time wisely and your resources wisely. Learn the art of delegation. There are plenty of great books out there on it, but learn how to delegate to your people. Learn to delegate and outsource what you're not great at, and learn to hold people accountable by delegation. That's it. I got nothing else. I got to go in this meeting. I hope you got it. This one's really important. Learn the art of delegation, or you will never grow anything. You won't even grow grass. So get it, master it, work at it, and become the go-to person with it. Sorry about the horn, but this is New York City, so there is traffic, and it is going to be what it is. All right, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new episode of 10 Minute Kick-Ass Coaching. Rock on. Thanks.